Good morning, everyone. Welcome to week 9 of the NFL weather forecast and also the picks. Hopefully, I did better than last week. Last week, I ended up 6-8. First week in a long time where I was actually, you on the losing side, I guess you could say. Definitely below 500 in the picks. But overall, so far this season, I'm 71-48. So we'll see if we can improve on last week. As far as the weather, it's much better than last week. We have a few areas that are may have an impact on the game, but not significant. I think you could probably tell which area has the greatest potential for impacts, and that would be down towards Florida, where we have Tropical Storm Eta slowly approaching the Florida Peninsula as it's moving through Cuba. It's producing widespread heavy rainfall over southern Florida, but some of those tropical showers are going to get up to Jacksonville, and that's going to impact the Texans versus Jacksonville Jaguar game. So it's going to be something that we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on. The only other area where there's going to be weather impact for the 1 p.m. games is going to be the Chiefs game, Panthers versus Chiefs, and that is because of windy conditions coming from the southwest around 10 to 20 miles per hour with some higher gusts. May have some impacts on the passing game and the kicking game, so definitely keep an eye on that. That could be a little bit of a factor. For the 4 p.m. games, the only real impact is going to be down towards California, where there's going to be some threat for some showers in the Raiders-Chargers game. Nothing heavy is expected, but it could have some impacts on the running game. We'll keep an eye on that. Other than that, though, weather is pretty quiet for the rest of the games. Nothing really going on for the Saints versus Buccaneers, and also the Patriots versus Jets. Well, that's a Monday night game, and even if there was a hurricane sitting right over the stadium in New Jersey, it wouldn't matter. Patriots are going to win that game, so there is that. So let's take a look at our picks. Already for this week, we start off in a good note where I picked Green Bay to beat San Francisco, and that worked out very nicely. So we're already 1-0, better than last week. There we go. So for the rest of the games, I like Atlanta to beat Denver. It's going to be a kind of one of those picks where I could have gone either way. I think Denver is going to be struggling a bit the rest of the way. Atlanta isn't much better, so it's not going to be a pretty game, that is for sure. For Seattle versus Buffalo, this is going to be a fun game. These two teams are very good. I love both of their offensive lines. The defensive lines also do pretty good too. As a former offensive and defensive lineman back in high school, I know it's high school, but still, I really appreciate a good offensive line because that is pretty much where the whole game is won and lost. You could have your flashy wide receivers and quarterbacks and running backs and all that stuff, but if you don't have a good offensive line, it doesn't matter. Okay? So this is going to be a really fun game. I'm going to go with Seattle here, inching it out, but I could totally see Buffalo winning this game. It's going to be a fun one, that's sure, and probably go down to the last minute of the fourth quarter. Tennessee versus Chicago. I like Chicago here. This is again going to be another tough game, but Tennessee is a very good team, but at times they appear to play down. So I think that Chicago might have a chance to eke this one out. Baltimore versus Indianapolis. Baltimore's just a better team, so I definitely want that. Kansas City versus Carolina. Again, Kansas City Chiefs are just a better team. You can't stop their offense. If you try to shut down the run, then they pass the ball all over the place. Try to shut down the pass, and they run. They have an excellent kicking game. Their defense is getting better. All their defense had to be was average, and it's actually above average. So they're just a very dominant team, and it's going to be a very fun game if you're a Chiefs fan, that's for sure. Minnesota versus Detroit, going with Detroit there. Washington versus the Giants. I could go either way on this one, but I just don't like the way the Giants are playing at all. And so I'm going to go with Washington there. Houston versus Jacksonville. Jacksonville's just a better team overall. The Chargers versus Las Vegas. This was a tough game, but I'm going to go with the Raiders here, as I just think the Chargers are going to be starting on a losing streak here, as last weekend's game was ugly the way that they lost, and I think that's going to continue. Pittsburgh versus Dallas. Pittsburgh is probably the second best team in the NFL behind Kansas City. I think they're going to take care of Dallas very, very easily. Arizona versus Miami. Miami is an up-and-coming team. I'm going to go with Miami on this one. Tampa Bay versus New Orleans. This is, again, another shootout here. You could really go either way, but I'm going to go with New Orleans here. But, again, I could seriously make the case very easily for Tampa Bay to win this game. So it's going to be an interesting game to watch. And then New England versus the Jets. Look, I'm just going to pick against the Jets going for the entire season. I don't like their head coach. I don't like their offensive philosophy. They can't keep their quarterback on the field. New England has some serious problems. They are nowhere near the team that they used to be, but they will be able to beat the Jets. That is your picks and forecast for today, of course, for this week. Of course, I hope you enjoy the game, and of course, we'll have the video discussion for the general forecast out in just a couple of minutes. Have a great day, and as always, stay safe out there.